Take two, folks. My OBS crashed again. I have no idea. We haven't exactly talked about Sweet Baby Inc. games a while now because most of the things had to be either on censorship, payment processors, and collective shout, which drowned out all of them. Let's take a break from that, and we hear this.
Alright me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, I've begun uploading some content onto Rumble, so make sure you follow Dr. Disaster over there. And don't forget to follow me over on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster 1. I keep a list on there of games lousy with wokeness pinned to the account at all times for your reference, and undoubtedly, if Contraband had released, it would have been added to this list. Sweet Baby Inc. working on a game is pretty much a guarantee that it will end up being chock full of progressive slop to the point that it is unplayable, which I suspect this is why Xbox is partially moving on from the game Contraband. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to hear that there was some development hell that was going on as well with Contraband.
Don't forget, Xbox is probably going to be putting an age verification, which I think many people who are in the development of Contraband, they hated it. They don't want any age verification. Who's to say they are now against age verification, and that's the reason why they cancel Contraband?
Caused that game to be canceled, but the timing on this, moving away from this game, is too damn suspicious for me to consider it coincidental. You see, about a week and a half ago was the release of the latest Sweet Baby Inc. game, and as you can see from the Steam charts here, that game didn't exactly light the world on fire, with only about 6,700 concurrent players jumping onto this game at its peak. Despite using the Lord of the Rings brand, which you would think that would net them a ton of automatic sales just for having the association with that brand.
Also, I had to ask, if Tales of the Shire were a cozy game, why you need a beast of a PC to run it? The minimum requirement is good, but what I'm talking about is the recommended. Who on earth thought about it? And when Tales of the Shire launched, it prone to bugs and glitches. It released 5 days after Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers. And yes, it may not be a similar genre, but Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers has more player count than this one, despite being a different genre, a Souls genre, okay? Yes, Wu-Chang has performance issues, don't get me wrong. The question is, if you really want to make a cozy game, why on earth do you need a beast of a PC? It's not the minimum requirement, okay? It's the recommended that I'm worried about. People with a RTX 2080 or 2070 can be well enough to even play this game in high settings because it's a cozy game. It's unlike if it's in RPGs or Souls game, that's a different matter, okay?
Advantage. According to data that you can see here from VG Analytics, Tales of the Shire has only sold around 56,000 units, which is not good at all because, of course, now that the launch is past, the sales numbers are only going to slow down from here. And now it's worth noting that another Sweet Baby Inc. game released earlier this year, and this one was actually published by Xbox themselves, so Xbox has some first-hand experience as to how amazing it is to work with Sweet Baby Inc. They put out South of Midnight, which was a very ugly and bland-looking game, and it peaked at less than 1,500 players, and VG Analytics estimates that the game has sold about 94,000 units on Steam, considering that this was a AAA production published by a major company like this. Well, these numbers are pure dog shit. I simply can't believe that Xbox making this decision to cut ties with Contraband a little over a week after the flop of Tales of the Shire. I struggle to imagine that these things aren't at least tied in some part.
I had to make an assumption. Whoever in Xbox, or in this case in Microsoft, they must have get pressured when they heard that Sweet Baby Inc. games are failing. You know what? Let me rephrase that. I think Xbox and Microsoft must have seen the realization how games such as Black Myth Wukong, Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers is doing much better than Tales of the Shire. I think when they saw that player count, they realized, why is Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers has more player count than Tales of the Shire? I think that's why they canceled it. Again, this is just theory, okay? It could be different from any of you.
IGN, it says here, Xbox has stopped development of Contraband to evaluate the project's future, with a Bloomberg report saying the game is canceled entirely 4 years after its initial E3 announcement. Bloomberg journalist Jason Shire first broke the news on Blue Sky today, saying that Xbox is canceling Contraband, announced in 2021 from Avalanche Studios after 4 years of radio silence, sources tell Bloomberg News. This was followed by an official confirmation from Avalanche on its website, which reads as follows: over the past several years, Avalanche Studios Group and Xbox Game Studios Publishing have collaborated on Contraband. Active development has now stopped while we evaluate the project's future. We're thankful for the excitement we've seen from the community since we announced, and will give an update on what's next as soon as we can.
That's a good time for the ads. So let's see what it says. Why is Rebecca Valentine still at IGN? Do IGN even learn from their mistakes with Black Myth Wukong? Oh well, they don't listen. Same goes for Jason Schreier, who always attacks gamers and doesn't like the chuds. Evidently, I had to ask, why? Every time there's a layoff, there's cancellation of games, how come these journalists always covers that? But every time a video game is a success, such as Claire Obscure Expedition 33, what else? Black Myth Wukong, how come these journalists doesn't cover it? I mean, yes, some journalists cover it, and I do mean some journalists, okay? Not all of it. Why they don't cover the success of video game? How come many journalists or news outlet doesn't cover the success of video games, but when there's layoff, they covered it? Such as the Washington Post or Variety covering video game layoff.
On what's next as soon as we can. Yeah, this is just wishful thinking. The game is not coming back. After 4 years of hearing nothing, it is quite clear what evaluating the project's future actually means, especially considering all the layoffs that Xbox has endured over the past few years. These big corporations, though, they love to deal in euphemisms like this in order to avoid hurting feelings. But here is the tweet from Sweet Baby Inc. 4 years ago when Contraband was first announced. Back then, Sweet Baby was super upfront with all the projects that they were working on. They wanted the whole world to know what they were up to. It's funny how now, after Cabrutus Rambo started the Sweet Baby Inc. Detected website, bringing mass awareness to all the crap that these people were up to in the gaming industry, now they attempt to hide their work like rats scurrying in the dark. Several months ago, as many of you likely recall, Sweet Baby removed the spot on their website where they showed off all the upcoming projects that they were working on. They also removed the list of studios that they were working with. It was only deep detective work of gamers that allowed us to find out that their past few games, Tales of the Shire, South of Midnight, Unknown 9 Awakening, it was only internet sleuths that found out that Sweet Baby was involved with those games. And now, I speculated back then that this backlash from gamers who were refusing to buy any games that Sweet Baby consulted on, I speculated that the removal of the client list on the Sweet Baby website, I said that this is a company that is clearly losing and going to lose even more business as more projects of theirs collapsed and studios chickened out on working with them.
Well, and don't forget, people are now calling it the Sweet Baby Inc. Kiss of Death. Seriously, to those people who think they want to use Sweet Baby Inc. as consultancy, yeah, you better think twice, okay? Because you either choose Sweet Baby Inc. or, in this case, have your company kaput, mass layoff, lose a lot of money.
Well, this cancellation of Contraband is exactly what I was talking about. Once again, I'm sure that some portion of the reason that Contraband has been axed is because there was some kind of development problems, there was likely some level of development hell. After all, we hadn't heard anything from this project in 4 years, but this announcement coming on the heels of Sweet Baby's latest game belly flopping on its launch is just too coincidental for me to believe that they are unrelated. Clearly, Xbox knows that if they pushed this game Contraband out, gamers would have circulated the knowledge that Sweet Baby worked on the game would have flopped, and they would lose money. That is why we have to consistently keep up the pressure, folks. We are making progress.
Yeah, that is quite true. We keep out the pressures. Don't forget, we still have Collective Shout, okay? They still need to be dealt with. Gamers are fighting two different enemies, Collective Shout and Sweet Baby Inc. Both of these, they have different types of agendas. Like, for example, Sweet Baby Inc. want to promote their progressivists, aka LGBTQ, minorities, those who deserve to be, without caring about their experience or if they're good at the job. For Collective Shout, they are a decade-old censorship, or in this case, more than a decade, dated back in the 90s, okay? Obviously, we're gonna fight two different enemies. And I don't think Sweet Baby Inc. has ever acknowledged Collective Shout. I haven't heard anything, so that's gonna be a thing because I'm assuming they're sitting on the sidelines. Now, another thing we have to know is that as we are fighting Collective Shout, some of you already know that Anita Sarkeesian is also joining on the censorship because, you guessed it, LGBTQ. That happens. How come Sweet Baby Inc. is not joining in? Collective Shout is censoring all types of games, which including LGBTQ games, that Sweet Baby Inc. champion. How come they're not calling them out? How come Sweet Baby Inc. doesn't say a word? Another thing is Neil Druckmann. We haven't heard anything from him. Since, of course, Anita Sarkeesian is joining in, Neil Druckmann should do the same too because he simped for her. Make that make sense, folks. So, keep out the pressure, folks. We're fighting two different enemies. Oh no, Sweet Baby Inc., you may think gamers are now focusing on Collective Shout. Oh no, don't you dare. Gamers still have eyes on you. So, you say one word, oh, we're gonna hound you. Gamers will not let that go. They will not let it slide.
I was getting a little nervous there. Thanks for not letting me down.
You watched my back. I wouldn't be worth spit if I didn't watch yours.
Fair enough. Let's head back to base.
Leave a like and subscribe if you want woke or anti-war detected, or you just want to see me play games, or perhaps you like trending topics. Visit my second, third, and fourth channel up here or link in the description.